Hey guys, and welcome to Interviews with PokeTubers. This episode, we have the Apostle of Rowlet. You know him from his hilarious and meme-filled Pokemon videos. He's coming out of the shroud like an Exploud. It's KangasCloud.
You are far too kind. Happy to be here.
All right. So for the first question, for anyone who has watched a KangasCloud video, you know that it's pretty obvious your favorite Pokemon is Rowlet.
Oh, yeah.
But who would you give your silver and bronze medal to?
See, that's a hard question to answer generally. Because if I wanted to meme it, I would just say, well, big Rowlet, small Rowlet, or I would name variation. Yeah, or Ultra Rowlet hasn't been released yet, so let's
with Mega Rowlet.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves, and it still hasn't that Mega Stone. Hopefully, an event we'll see that come up. But I feel like I should give some honest answers here. So my number 2 and number 3, and it kind of alternate, so I'll just list them both as silver and bronze, whoever crosses the finish line first. But Nidoking and Cyndaquil, they're both my second favorite Pokemon, so I don't know, they have to decide amongst themselves who gets the silver and the bronze. But I those are both Pokemon that I like very much.
Yeah, I know after the recent trailer for Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, that Mantine has kind of also risen in popularity amongst.
Yes, Mantine is now, I'm pretty sure, is in my top 10. I didn't actually have a top 10 before, but since Mantine kind of popped up there, I kind of gave it a second look, and it was in like the top 25. And then I realized that it probably beats out a lot of those. So it's somewhere between 5 and 10. Mantine floated in recently.
All right. So kind of the opposite of the first question, which is there a Pokemon that you hate or would like to see removed?
Okay, I've thought about this a lot. I even made a video about Pokemon that should I'm not self-promoting, I'm just explaining don't worry. I made a video about talking about the Pokemon I think should die in Ultra Sun and Moon, and it was a joke, but a lot of people took it very seriously. I had no idea how many people took it very seriously. But anyway, I don't actually really hate any Pokemon. So there's not any that I actually think should be removed. Even the ones I think are horribly designed, I kind of adore. I kind of adore the game's willingness to keep them in, because there are so many that are kind of creative, interesting designs. The certain Pokemon like Love Disc, for example. What is a Love Disc if not like a pink right side up solid jelly? I don't know what that's a Love Disc, but
Love Disc is it's supposed to be the couple's Pokemon because it's a heart fish.
Oh sure, yes. No, I mean it's shaped like a heart. It's a couple's Pokemon, but in reality, like it is this amorphous blob that slightly resembles a heart. It's stupid. It's ridiculous. And pardon the pun, but I love it. I love it all the same. Even as much as I'll trash talk certain Pokemon, I adore them all.
Even Girafarig?
Even Girafarig. Even as much as, man, I will trash talk a Pokemon. That's one I could have mentioned along with Love Disc. I mean, the design, it's I will give it credit. It is a clever design, but it is so weird. It's so weird. But I love weird things. I think it makes life more interesting. So I still appreciate it for what it is.
All right. So the next question is, who is your favorite YouTuber to watch, whether that be in the Pokemon community or just in general?
So yeah, this is another one. I had to bounce around a bit. I've got a few, and most of them are in the Pokemon community. So I'll just stick in the Pokemon community because that's what a lot of people here will know. I mean, I have some outside, but since I do Pokemon content, I find myself watching more Pokemon YouTubers anyway. My number one favorite is always going to be the Pokemon Professor. He is criminally undervalued in the videos that he does. If for Pokemon parody, it's you can't find anything better. Like he's just a fantastic writer, actor, director. He does it all, and you can see that how much he cares for just the art of filmmaking in his videos. So he's kind of my hands down. Now he's also promised not to, or he's sworn that the Professor series is done. So if anyone watches this, goes to his channel, beg him for more. I just don't. You can or cannot. You don't have to. It doesn't matter if you tell him that I sent you, but please go and beg him for more of those videos. But probably my number one Pokemon YouTuber that I watch pretty consistently, that probably will surprise a lot of people, is Joey PokeMMD.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just because of the nature of what I do, his videos are so different than mine, but I still have a place in my heart for what he does is competitive battling on Pokemon. So like he's always doing showdown lives, and that helps. Watching his videos helps keep me grounded in actual gameplay for Pokemon. Like I have different people I watch for LPs. When Shady used to do, Shady Penguin used to do a lot of LPs. I would watch that, but LPs take so long to watch that it's a time issue. But those are probably my favorite though, hands down, Jason, the Pokemon Professor.
All right, lots of good answers there. Lots of variety. So next question is, what does the Pokemon community mean to you, and where do you see it today, and where would you like to see it in the future?
This is probably the one that'd be the hardest for me to answer. The Pokemon community, it's kind of all over the place, right? I mean, there's different interest within Pokemon. There's people that are they really follow the anime. There's people that really just like just playing through the game. There's people that really into shiny hunting. There's people that play competitive Pokemon. There's people that, like where I am, in the parody section, somewhere outside of the realm of everything else, I guess. But there's a lot of different. There's so much now than even when I mean, there was a lot when I started, but in the couple of years before that I was watching content. Even since then, there's just a lot of different types of content that have grown out of this. Originally it was just playing this one game. Now there's so many things. So, and that's good. That's good because it exposes the game to people with different types of interest. So I see it as a larger community than people outside of the community would realize. So it's almost a clandestine community because people, I know in like everyday life, when you talk to someone about, like Pokemon, or say like, hey, I do Pokemon on YouTube. It's like it's Pokemon Go. Like it's more recently, like people that have never played any other type of Pokemon, they know it from Pokemon Go, and that's like, well, I don't play Pokemon Go. And they're like, well, what do you mean you don't play Pokemon? That's Pokemon. And I have to explain. Well, there's a lot of different other things too. So it's very broad. And as a community, it's like any other. You have ups and downs. You have I would say, as much as people think there's drama and maybe in this community, there's a lot more in others, like real drama. The drama in this community is kind of, it's overblown. It's overhyped. There's not that much drama. That's something I've come to learn. It's not as important as people think it is, but it's a good community. There's a lot of people that look out for each other. Between YouTube and Twitch and just people just interested in Pokemon, there's a lot of compassion, even among people you don't think there is. There's actually a lot of compassion for others. So I think it's a good community right now. I think people come and go in it too. I think in the future, what it's going to look like, it's just going to keep growing as an online community. I don't know that the game itself is going to grow more. I think it's the nature of how games are. I don't think Pokemon itself is going to grow into a bigger entity than it is, but I think the community around it, they're going to find each other more and more as they have been doing. And I think that's good.
All right. Excellent. So next question is a triple threat, which is, what is your favorite route, music, and character?
Route, music, and character. Now, they just don't all have to be related, right?
No.
Okay.
You can pick
Um,
any game, any music, any Pokemon. It could be from a main game, could be from a side game.
okay, okay. Well, mine are. I feel like my answers will be kind of unoriginal, but my favorite route, and this was something I really had to think about because I'd never thought about that question. So kudos for that. Um, I went with Route 120 from um, from from the Hoenn region, I'll just say, Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald, Route 120.
Yeah.
Now that one for me was the most interesting. It has weather involved. It's the first time you meet, and by the way, for me this was amazing. The first time you see Kecleon, I thought that was the coolest Pokemon ever. It's still one of my favorites. I don't know if it makes it to the top 10 now because I I don't know, I've grown up, but but I thought that was the coolest thing ever. This little color changed lizard. Um, the way it appears in that level. There's legendaries you find in that level. I think it's just well designed the way it's laid out. You have different little obstacles. There's a little surfing part, just a little bit of everything. So I kind of enjoyed that originally, and maybe there's another one that I really like, but off the kind of, for a little bit I was exploring this, and that's kind of what I landed on. It has all the things I like in it.
Nice.
Not really, other than Kecleon, probably not a lot of my favorite Pokemon, but it's still, I enjoy the route. And as for favorite music, that was another one that was kind of tough because I like a lot of the music.
Mm-hmm.
It's simple, but I do enjoy a lot of it. But I've always been kind of one for villains in video games. So what stands out to me a lot is the End's castle theme.
Okay.
I And that goes along with the broader themes of N. Like I think he's a very interesting character in the games. I think he's one of the more complex characters. I mean, introduced later, obviously in the series, but
Yep.
so they had a little more window room to build more actual data on the cartridge to make more
A little
of a
bit more
story.
experience with the writing.
Yeah, exactly, and a little more experience. This is like the sixth or fifth time out to bat with the series, and that's fifth gen, right? Fifth,
Yep.
1, 2, 3. Okay, I lose track sometimes. I bounce back and forth, but and honestly, fifth gen isn't really my favorite gen in terms of like the Pokemon stuff like that. But I really like End Story, and so that music, if you go back and listen to it, it has a lot of ups and downs. It's really intense. It makes me think of like the great villains of video games. Not that he's like the best villain of a video game. He's not even like the main villain, but I really get like the feel. I really get kind of emotionally pulled in with that music, and to jump from that, he's not my favorite character though. My favorite character is actually going back in time a little bit. Silver, your rival from the second generation. Definitely, probably my favorite. Probably my favorite character in the games. Again, I'm sure I could find some random trainer that said something funny somewhere in the lines, and I'd be like, "Oh, that's my favorite." But it's ones that I remember.
You sure it's not Youngster Joey?
Youngster Joey. Again, bringing up top 10 list, Youngster Joey makes the list every time. But I don't. For as far as favorites go, I like Silver because once you get to Heart Gold and Soul Silver, has this interesting little twist that you don't realize that he's probably the son of Giovanni and all this other stuff going on, and you kind of get a resolution to his anger, and the way you kind of see where End's coming from, you see where he's coming from. Except Silver's he's a little bit on your tail this game more, so he's a little bit in your face, kind of edgy, a little angrier. But at the end, you kind of see, oh, this makes sense. He was abandoned and all this stuff. So, yeah.
One of the things also, one of the reasons why I find Silver also pretty interesting is that one of the major themes in Gold and Silver is talking about friendship and like
Oh yeah,
your Pokemon.
Yeah.
And I forget if he has it in the original game, but I know he does in Heart Gold and Soul Silver. But he has a Golbat through most of it.
I can't remember.
And you kind of teach him the values of friendship, and then towards the end of the game, he has a Crobat.
He has a Crobat. Like, even in his own state of mind, he learned how to be friends with his Pokemon. See, yeah. I think there's more resolution with that character than you get with a lot of characters in the series. I think a lot of them, it's kind of like, we met it, we battle, I won, bye. Like, it's kind of, it's just the way the game is. Or they have like a one-line moment where they're like, oh, I see the error of my ways, I'm gone now, black screen, and now you're moving on. But like, I feel like there's a little more at stake with him on a personal level. Like, it's not about the world ending. It's not this huge giant thing. It's what is it? It's kind of like a Civil War
story.
Yeah, it's like with Captain America Civil War, how the whole, it doesn't come down to, it's about the world ending, it's about these personal relationships. And I think that it hits a little harder when it's something on a smaller scale, because you can relate to it more.
Mm-hmm. So next question is there an animal or object you like to see made into a Pokemon?
So people that watch me stream will know that I have a great fondness for the automaton, which is this little Japanese musical instrument. It's the most ridiculous thing you've ever seen, but I love it. So that was when I was thinking about this question, that was the first thing to pop into my mind. But I feel like that's never something they would do. Although how fun that would be to have something so obscure, this little like reference. But
automaton.
Automaton. It's this little. It's this little.
I know it is. But what I was saying is a Rotom version of it.
Wait, what's that?
A Rotom version.
A Rotom. Yeah, a Rotomaton. Like that could be something I could see. People don't look up a picture of an automaton. If you're watching this, you don't know what it is. It's this. It looks kind of like an electric ladle. I don't know how to describe it. That's how my sister described it when she saw mine. She said, "Oh, it looks like a ladle with a face," and you're right. It sounds. I guess that's how you explain it. But along that note, something a little more serious. It would be nice, I think, to have more musically influenced Pokemon. Like I know they have Meloetta. Other than that, I was trying to think. I couldn't really think of ones that really resemble music. So I would love one based off of a musical instrument, like any instrument. My favorite's like piano. I like piano a lot. I like the violin a lot, but it could really be anything. There's kind of a whole world of musical instruments you could do, and I think music is a pretty big part of Pokemon. So I'm kind of surprised there hasn't been more in that direction. So maybe the next generation.
Yeah, maybe. The only Pokemon other that I can think of is Chatot.
Chatot, true, but Chatot just screams. I don't know.
I mean, his head is a musical symbol. So
yeah, I would like something that's more like I would like more. I would like more. Like I would like to be able, like you put a Chatot at the beginning of the staff. I'd like to put like a bunch of Pokemon in a staff and make it look like they're like playing a song. But well, that's just my own imagination where it goes with that.
Yeah. Awesome. So I think this question will be pretty decisive, and that is, what is your favorite game, and what do you think is the best game? And it could be a core game or side game.
So my favorite is probably Heart Gold. And I should say Heart Gold or Soul Silver, just because it's basically the same for the most part. But I played Gold, so that's the one I go with. I have a lot of history with that game, and maybe that's why Silver means a little bit more to me. Because I like the villain in that game. I like the legendaries in that game. I think they're not my favorite legendaries, but as a group, I probably like it more than the other gens. I like the map. I like the areas. I like the towns. I like the themes. Just in general, it's kind of again, there's other generations where there's particular aspects I like more, some Pokemon I like more, but just as one game, to me it feels a little more complete than some of the others. Where I think with the second generation, if you saw it on its own without, say, the other Pokemon from the other generation that came in, or themes or characteristics from the other ones come in, I think it would still stand alone on its own. whereas the others have to kind of adapt a little bit more to the other games to feel more complete. And each one kind of feels like it's one-upping itself. And I like and I like the fact that you can return to Kanto in it. I think that's it's a novelty, but it's a cool idea. It's something that we kind of beg for in every game, being able to go back to another region, and this game just does it. So yeah, there's again, like, I won't say there's nothing wrong with it, but it just, to me, it fits together. It flows a lot better than a lot of the other games.
Okay. And which one do you think is best?
Which one is best? So, like, different from, like, if I like unbiased,
yeah. So your favorite game is Heart Gold, and that's the one that you like the most. But then what one you think is the best?
Whew. So with my own bias taken out of it, probably Platinum. I think that generation had a lot going for it. I don't know about sales numbers. I don't know which ones did the best off the top of my head, but I think there were a lot of mechanics introduced to that game that made the series more interesting. I think there's definitely a lot of my favorite Pokemon now were introduced in that generation. So I think it contributed a lot to the other games. Again, it's hard for me to qualify that as the best because I like Heart Gold so much. But if I was to take myself and my own personal experiences out of it, I'd probably go with the 4th gen games.
Next question is, why do you think Pokemon has stayed with you for so many years, both as a person and a content creator?
Well, as a person, it's kind of a freedom of imagination thing. The Pokemon games are based in reality, but such a strange concept that kind of extends reality. That you just have these creatures that you kind of befriend and control. I think it makes the world a more just a more friendly place to think about. Like, hey, these, like, it's not, we don't have to just deal with humans. We have we can also be friends with the squirrels and the beavers and the bears, and we can be friends with, and the trees. We can be friends with everything around us. Like the cynical part of me is like, that is ridiculous. That's why I love it. But like the other part of me is kind of like, that is kind of a nice world to live in, where you're just literally everything around you is your friend. Even when you're fighting other people, it's just out of competition. It's not out of, and the people that do it out of hate and spite, they're the bad guys and they always get defeated. So I think for me, it's a nice escape, to go to this game, to go to this world where everything's just kind of so happy and cute. Because, every day things are not that happy and cute. So it's nice to have something where it's just kind of like, you can breathe a sigh of relief and just look and pet a, Pikachu or a Rowlet. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. Now, as a content creator, I think with the amount of variety there is in Pokemon, and I think about, this is definitely something I think about a lot because of the fact that I make quote unquote parody content or satirical content about Pokemon. There's so much to do with Pokemon. I would never run out of material to make videos. And whenever I don't make videos, it's not a question of material. It's a question of time, or ability. But there's just so much. There's so many Pokemon. There's so many types of Pokemon play and enjoyment. So as a content creator, like, as someone that personally enjoys parodies and satire of any kind, Pokemon's a nice outlet for it because there's just so much you can do. Like, I can stay in one community and have a million different ideas of things that I can do. It can be any random thing and it'll work because there's a Pokemon that fits with this, there's a gameplay style that fits with this, or there's an anime episode that fits with this. So you always have material available to you. Now I know that might be different if you do different types of content with Pokemon, but even so, you know, there's so much Pokemon, like even competitive Pokemon. There's so many variations of that. And since they come out with a new game every year, every 2 years, even that, I don't, I haven't gotten tired of it yet. I know there's some content creators that have, but there's some, say like Joey, like to him again, he, you know, after all these years hasn't got tired of it. Callum, Hoodlum Scrafty hasn't gotten tired of it. So for me, it's just there's a lot of variety, and I eat that up.
Nice. So, second to last question is: you make a lot of really creative and funny videos, but what video do you like the most that you've made, and which video are you most proud of?
Well, that is a question. So my personal favorite video, the one, if there's like a video that I would go back and watch, that I've made, and I didn't realize, I think I've made, hold on, I made a lot more videos. I was looking at this a little bit ago, a lot more videos than I realized. It was about yeah, I have more videos than I ever need to make, or 100 something. I don't know. But anyway, my favorite video is I made one called Hoppip's Day Out. It's just this, it's this like 12, I don't even remember how long it ended up being, probably longer than that, 12, 16 minutes, something like that. Mm-hmm. It's the story of a Hoppip it's 12 minutes long. Story of a Hoppip that just has a day in New York City, and I set it to a Gershwin song that I just absolutely love. And this was I took about 6 months off of YouTube. And I came back. This was the video that kind of got me to come back. And it's not my most viewed video or anything. It's kind of out there in the ether. But there's more of me in this video than almost any other video I've made, in a different type of way. Like there's a lot of comedy in a lot of other videos, but this one, there's more of where I am emotionally in this video than any of the other parodies I made or anything, which is surprising because there's no Rowlet in this video. I know it's weird to say.
Just a different grass type, you know.
It's a different grass type. It is. It's like it's like Rowlet. It's like the pre-evolution of Rowlet is this little Hoppip. Now I have videos that I've spent more time on. My most watched video, the theory video I made with Alex, who's the Ori Guardian. He is a joy to work with, by the way. I'm sure I should hope everyone that sees this will have already checked him out, but check him out. But that one is also up there. It's one I really enjoyed making. That's another one that I haven't gone back and watched that one anytime recently, but that's one I do enjoy watching too, just because I have other friends in the video with me that Jason's in that, Whoopsire's in that one, and it was really fun to make a project with them. I enjoy working with other people that are that enjoy comedy. So most of my videos are going to be comedy, but probably my personal favorite and the one I'm most proud of is probably that goofy little Hoppip video.
Oh, very nice. So for our last question, we're going to play a little game. So Have you ever heard of F, Marry, Kill?
Yes, I have. Oh dear.
So instead, we're going to play Follow, PC, Faint. So
Follow, PC, Faint. So like follow is like the Pokemon that follows you.
Yep. So it's like Heart Gold, Soul Silver style. You would catch this Pokemon and you'd have it follow you like forever. PC as in you would catch it, but you just leave it in the PC. And then Faint means you would just faint it and not even catch it.
Okay. I can do this.
All right, so I'm going to randomize a couple times. Should I get some variety? And
oh dear, could be anything.
Our choices are Sunflora, Guzzlord, and Starly.
Starly. Okay, so right away I can say Starly is following me.
Okay.
Starly's kind of adorable. Guzzlord and
Sunflora.
It was Sunflora. That is a tough one. You know what? Ooh. You know, I'm gonna faint the Guzzlord because I want that experience, and I'm gonna go ahead and put the Sun 4 in the PC because I think it probably learns some. If I'm going back the generation it first came from, it'll probably have some useful like cut. I can give it cut, so that'll be useful.
All right, nice. So that's going to wrap up this episode of Interviews with PokeTubers. I want to thank Kanga for taking time out of his day to have this interview with me.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
And thank you guys so much for watching, and stay super fantastic. Bye.